Hello, everybody. Is it morning? Nope. We just crossed over into the afternoon. Welcome to your daily devotion. I am happy to join you today, and I want to know that you are there too. So when you pop on, say hello and let me know that you are there watching. Love to know where you're watching from too. So give a shout out. Let me know where you're watching from. You know what? I'm so thankful for this group. This ministry has just grown leaps and bounds, especially through these last several months. God has been using it in a mighty way, and we continue to grow across the world. It just amazes me. If I sat down and took the time to actually write every country that we are touching right now, your mind would be blown. And although I don't often hear from people from these other countries, they are asking to join in, and they are coming in and sometimes adding to the conversation, which I love that. And I don't know if y'all can see that across my screen there, but if you could, I apologize. No, y'all, we have so many people watching that never even say a word. And I just wanted to tell you that I'm thankful that you are here, because the fact that we are over 900 members strong in as many countries as we are in lets me know that God has his hand in it, and he is doing a mighty work. So today I want to talk to you about letting go of what lies behind. And so this conversation triggered in my mind yesterday when I went to Aiden's school and had to pick up his things. And of course, like we've all talked about, never in a million years would I have figured that this is how things would end up for us. And he's a fifth grader, and you know, all of those fun activities for fifth graders he was not able to participate in. He probably could care less, to be quite honest with you. But as a parent, you know, you hang on to those types of things. We were very blessed, though, that we actually got to go on his fifth grade field trip. That was the day before they shut everything down. So we got that in, and so that's a great memory for us. But as I was picking up his items, this thought went through my mind of, you know, it was kind of sad, because I wanted, you know, you want to get out and go hug your teachers and whatnot. Of course, they weren't out there. It's just a few select people handing you your bag of goods. But it was tough, and it just made me think, you know, how much we have lost during this time. And if we stay focused on what we've lost, we won't recognize what we've gained, right? And I've talked about it before, looking for the silver lining, the glass is half full person. Because God is still at work, and his hand is still blessing us all around through all of the circumstances. And he spoke to me, and what came to my mind immediately was, let go of what lies behind and look forward to what lies ahead. And I started pondering that, and even this morning, it was immediately as I was asking, Lord, what would you have me to share today? First thing in my head. I thought, well, okay, that's what we're going to share then, because it makes sense to so many right now, especially the losses of, you know, those special moments in our life, the graduations. You know, we're experiencing 3 of those in my house: 5th grade, my son's boot camp graduation, and my daughter's graduation from with her master's degree. And so we are facing those things in our household, but I look at other families and what they are going through, the things that they're not able to participate in, and, you know, to be with their loved ones when they want to. So many things. The list could go on and on and on. And we could get really discouraged and stay focused on that. But God made me feel at peace. Just let it go. It is what it is. We can't fix it. We can't turn back the clock, but we can change how we do things moving forward. We can, and how our attitude, we have our attitude of gratefulness, or we can have an attitude of frustration and anger. And I choose gratefulness. And so as God was teaching me that, I thought, I know that this is in the Bible, and I've got to figure out where it is and what the lesson behind that is. So I searched and I found it's in Philippians 3:13, and it's Paul talking. And he's talking about his race as a Christian, you know, being more like Christ. His goal, his end goal, of course, is to meet Jesus and to be as much like him as possible. But this is what he says, Philippians 3:13. No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which God, through Christ Jesus, is calling us. You know, when I was in high school, I was a runner. And the one thing that they would say is, don't look back, never look behind you. Of course, I was world's worst about looking behind me. But I looked behind because I typically was in the lead in every race that I ran, because I felt like I could do better to hold the lead than I could to try to catch up. Now, there were some scenarios where I was put in a position in a relay or different things like that, and I had to go catch up and I had to take that lead on my own. But I would always glance over my shoulder just to know where that person was, so I knew what was coming and what I could do, what I needed to do. But in this scenario, Paul says, don't look back. Do not look back. Don't stay focused on what's back there, because if you stay focused on all of that, you're going to miss what lies in front of you. Your focus has got to be the finish line, and it's the spiritual finish line, our race of salvation. And in Hebrews 12, this is what it says in Hebrews 12, verses 1 through 3. It's a little bit of a continuation on the same subject, but it says, okay, hold on. I had it. Y'all know I get screwed up there. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down. All of this garbage in the past, get rid of it. Move on. Especially the sin that so easily trips us up. You know, it's easy to get caught up in our guilt and our concern. Even yesterday, as I was sharing the devotion, I don't know if it was the Lord that spoke to me and said, hey, you messed up, or the enemy trying to say, you know what, you screwed up, you don't know what you're talking about. Either way, I prayed and said, Lord, is it worth taking it down? It was my misstep. It was not malicious, but it came out the wrong way. And I said, was that misstep something that would take the entirety of that devotion that I did for that one small error? Is it worth taking it down? I prayed about that, and I just felt more of a peace that the enemy will guilt you to death and make you to feel so bad about what you did, even if you didn't realize you did it, and come after you. Well, what good would that have done if I didn't really change the message anyway? It was something that I chose the wrong wording. I said it backwards. And could it make an impact? Yes, but was the impact enough to take down that whole message? And I felt like the Lord said, no, don't worry about that. You just keep moving forward. You keep doing what you're doing. And that's exactly what it's talking about. Let those those chains that the enemy has on us, let them be broken off and move forward. Let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. Because we've got to just keep up, keep on keeping on. You hear people say that, but we really do. We got to keep on keeping on, because the battle is his. The battle is not ours. We are just instructed to follow what he's asking us to do. And so you let all of that junk go. You let all of that garbage fall off of you. You keep your eyes set on the prize. He says, because we do this by keeping our eye on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne. That's verses 1 and 2. Y'all, do you hear what that's saying? He could have cowered to all of the humility he was under and all of the hatefulness, the bashings, the verbal, the physical abuse. He could have just caved and said, I can't do it. But he continued on. He didn't worry about all of this stuff that was happening around him, that had happened before, that was going on in his present moment. He kept his eyes on the prize. He kept his eyes on what God wanted for him. And he endured the cross till the end. And look where he is now. And that's what God's telling us. I look at it now, of all the things going on, and does the fact that we miss our graduations and things like that, is that going to get us to heaven just because we just don't think about it anymore? No, that doesn't get us to heaven. That's not what God's saying. God is saying to keep your eye on what's important. What is important is our salvation, our eternity with him. And we can't get there if we're so focused on the things in our past that are weighing us down, the judgments, the guilt, the condemnation that the enemy throws at us. We can't get anywhere if we're stuck on that. But as far as it is with what we are walking, God knows that it's hard for us. This is not a surprise. He knows what's going on with us. He knows our sadness, and he understands our pain. Our church just started a series in Lamentations about lamenting. God understands. So if you drive through that parking lot to pick up your child's things, if you have to do yourself a fake graduation ceremony in your front yard, if you have to do all of these different things that you never anticipated, look for the blessing in them. Your kids are around. You get to spend time with them. You can still make things beautiful. You can have great memories. And you can hold on to that because that is God's goodness, allowing those things to happen, to fulfill those voids for us, He can do that, and he loves us enough to know where our pain is. And because we are children of God, we can place those pains at the foot of the cross and just say, Lord, my heart hurts right now. This is not what I expected. This is not what I wanted. But thank you because you are still good. Y'all, it's uncharted territory for us, isn't it? But we've come along. We're past 2 months now, and we're still surviving, and we will. But keep your eye on the ultimate goal, and that is Jesus Christ and your walk with him, because there will be no more disappointment when we get to stand before the throne and accept our seat in heaven. I'll have a blessed day. I'll see you back here.